If you've been staring at your life like it's an IKEA manual in Swedish and all you want to do is crawl back into bed with snacks, this one's for you. Okay, here's the truth. I'm not an expert on much, but I am known for flipping my life upside down in mostly a good way. Once a friend literally said, "You never know where Sheila will end up next." And I wear that as a badge of honor. Why? Because getting unstuck is my superpower. And I actually think it comes from my childhood, My parents moved from Iran to America when I was just a teeny tiny baby. So I literally grew up watching them reinvent everything. Change is in my DNA. And here's what I've learned. Most people stay stuck because they're terrified of that exact thing, change. But what if I told you that getting unstuck is way easier than you think? And no, it doesn't require a life coach, but I highly recommend one. I have at least 4. Okay, I have 4. Welcome back to Small Talk with Sheila, the podcast where we laugh at life's messes and we talk about how to turn them into something good. I'm your host, Sheila, and you know what to do. Light your Sheila candle, grab a snack, and let's get into it. Because today, we're getting you out of that rut without waiting for the stars, the moon, or Mercury to get its act together. Does Mercury ever get its act together? Okay, when I was in my early 20s, I moved to Arizona on a whim. Yeah, total whim. And I had never lived outside of my parents' house, you guys, but something in me just knew I had to figure out who Sheila was. And apparently, I had to do that in the desert. I still remember stopping at a gas station on my way to Arizona, buying a pack of cigarettes because I thought rebels smoked. Never mind the fact that I coughed every time I even tried one. And I was blasting Dido's Thank You on the freeway, feeling like I was in my own indie movie. You know that line, "I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life"? Yeah, I felt like maybe the desert was about to give me that. Was I naive? Absolutely. Brave? Maybe. Terrified? Oh, yes. But underneath the fear, there was this quiet voice saying everything will work out. And guess what? It did. And listen, I'm not saying you need to pack up your car and drive to another state, but I do recommend reconnecting with that part of you that believes in good outcomes. Because here's the truth. We humans have survived divorce, illness, heartbreak, pandemics, layoffs, and entire wars. We're wired to be resilient. And listen, if you've made it this far, you can handle the next step. I promise you. Here's the kicker. Our brains are hardwired to think of everything that could go wrong. So if your brain wants to make a list of all the disasters waiting to happen, I want you to make a different list. Everything that could go right. What if that scary move leads to the best chapter of your life? What if asking that person for a connection introduces you to people or opportunities that blow your mind? What if the thing you're avoiding is the thing that could actually save you? I have a feeling that a what could go right list is going to surprise you. Because here's the truth. We get stuck because we fear change, but we forget that change is where all the good stuff happens. And here's a Shielaism for you guys. Fear of change is just your brain trying to protect you from becoming the next level you. But babe, that next level you is so worth meeting. Just do it. But even if we face our fear of change, most of us still stay stuck because we're waiting for that magical, perfect moment. The one where the clouds part and the angels sing and Mercury is finally out of retrograde. I hate to break it to you, that moment isn't coming. Mercury is always up to something. We all have that person, whether it's a coworker or a friend who's always talking about someday. Someday I'll quit this job. Someday I'll start that thing. Someday I'll move. And part of you just wants to shake them and yell, "Someday is not coming. Your life isn't going to be magically perfect, or stop waiting for it." I grew up with a mother who always said, "On Monday, I'll start my diet." But guess what, you guys? Monday never came. Something always came up. And honestly, I'm no better. I've said the same thing about starting to work out for real so many Mondays in a row that I'm convinced my dumbbells have dust on them. Meanwhile, I'm over here losing muscle definition as we speak. Oh God, don't look. And here's the backstory. I had a version of this podcast for years, and I kept waiting for all the stars to align before I started. You know, the perfect mic, the perfect intro music, the perfect level of confidence. And then one day I honestly got so sick of myself that I just said enough. Start the thing. And so I did. And let me tell you, there is nothing perfect about my life or this podcast even now. But it's alive, it's happening, it's growing, and none of that would have happened if I kept waiting for the perfect moment. In fact, I don't even think perfect moments or perfect lives exist. And if they did, they'd probably be very weird and scary, like The Truman Show. I mean, do you remember that movie? Imagine living in some like creepy Stepford version of life where everything is like just right and perfect. Ugh, no thank you. The magic happens when you take a messy, imperfect step forward because movement creates clarity, not the other way around. You can't think your way into action, you have to act your way into thinking. Oh, okay, I can do this. Stop asking, is this the right time? And start asking, what's the next tiny step I can take today? Because waiting is like being in a line at Starbucks for 45 minutes and then realizing you never even ordered a coffee. Your life doesn't need to be on Instagram highlight reel to be amazing. Real life, the messy, unpredictable, unscripted is where the magic actually is. So don't wait for perfection, just do it. And even when we finally stop waiting for perfect, there's still one thing that paralyzes us. It's this idea that if we make a change, we're stuck with it forever. Like, what if we hate it? What if I can't undo it? But here's the truth. You can undo it. You know why so many of us get stuck? Because we treat every decision like it's permanent. Like we're signing a contract with no exit clause. I mean, even tattoos can be removed. Here's the thing, you can change your mind. I mean, I remember one of my therapists once said something that I'll never forget. He literally handed me my rights and he said, you have the right to change your mind. It was like someone unlocked a door I didn't even realize I'd been locked behind. Do you remember how I moved to Arizona on a whim in my early 20s? I really did have my own Phoenix rising there. I mean, Arizona, I really feel is like where I grew up into the woman I am today. And I don't think I would have become her if I hadn't taken that risk. But here's the thing. While I loved my time in Arizona, I also knew I wanted to end up back in California. I remember I got into this MBA program in Arizona, and then at the very last minute, I decided to fly to a program in Southern California. Everything happened so fast. I ended up getting into this program. I packed up and I headed back to California. No cigarettes this time. Does that mean the years in Arizona were a waste? Absolutely not. They were part of my adventure story. And then I moved on to a new chapter, and then another, and then another. And here's the bigger point. Let's say you move to Paris and the French aren't as warm as you had hoped. You can always move back. If you make a career change and it doesn't feel right, you can pivot again. Life isn't a one-shot deal we make it out to be. Sure, okay, I get it. The logistics of change can be annoying, but you don't have to stick with something you absolutely hate just because you started it. And here's the fun twist. What if you do move to Paris, you fall madly in love with it, and you marry a Parisian who makes you fresh croissants every morning? I mean, you'll never know unless you try. Here's your Shielaism. The risk is worth it because you can always come back. And if you can't come back, you'll find something even better waiting for you. The reason I think I can get unstuck so quickly is because I don't take life so seriously. I know that everything is temporary in some fashion, so I approach life like an adventure. And if life is an adventure, then change is the plot twist that makes it worth remembering. Facing the fear of change, our brains love to list all the things that can go wrong, but what if we made a list of everything that could go right? Waiting for the perfect time? It's a myth, an illusion. You don't need perfect timing to start, just start messy and figure it out along the way. And thinking change is forever? It's not. You can always pivot, shift gears, or take another path. The The magic isn't in getting it perfect. The magic is in moving and creating your own adventure. If you're feeling stuck in any area of your life, do one thing today to shake the energy up. It doesn't have to be huge. Make a list of everything that could go right if you took that leap. Try one tiny change to your routine. Say yes to something that scares you a little. Just pick one micro move and do it today. That's how you create momentum. Also, send this episode to the friend that keeps talking about the thing but never does it. Because someday, I'm going to send this to my mom and tell her to start her diet today. Well, I should also work out today. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember, life is not that serious and you can always change your mind. If this is all just one big adventure, why not make it a good story? I'll see you next time on Small Talk with Sheila. Till then, go and change things up.